You are now listening to a member of the Disney Podcast family. Head over to Disney Podcast Family on Instagram to see all the latest posts for this show and links to other great Disney podcasts.
There was an idea. The idea was to bring together a group of remarkable people, see if they could become something more.
I have an army.
We have a Hulk.
This is the Marvel Tribe, brought to you by Walt's Apartment Podcast and the DisInsider.
Avengers!
Assemble.
What up, Marvel Tribe? We are doing the Marvel Advent calendar countdown with the What If series on Disney Plus. So every day, Marvel is going to release a new piece of content in the What If series season 2, and you have your awesome host here to break it down every day until we can't. I mean, so far we're on the roll. This is 3 for 3, so we are on episode 3. Anyone catch the title of this episode?
What?
Yeah, Happy Hogan Saves Christmas.
Yeah, what if Happy Saves Christmas?
It should have been what if Justin Hammer freaking ruins Christmas, but yeah. So here we are. We got our host, the podcast princess, Sam, the one and only. How are you?
I am great. I'm great. I'm actually really excited for the way that we are navigating these episodes and watching them and discussing them. I think it's a great thing for the tribe to do. And I hope that our listeners are enjoying it as well. And I'm already excited because we're just a few hours away from the next episode being released. We are recording early tomorrow morning before all of the Christmas festivities take place. So keep on listening to the tribe. We love y'all.
Absolutely. And then we have our awesome Mr. Logic, analytical Universal fanboy, Lou Knight. How are you, sir?
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned Universal fanboy because after we got done recording yesterday, me and my buddy were hanging out in the living room and I was talking about stuff. He's like, Louis, everything you just mentioned is Universal. And I was like, they're just getting it right now, man. Like, I'm not trying to like be on their bandwagon, but they're getting it. But overall, I am doing good. I second what Sam said. I like the route they're going. I like the route we're taking for What If in the tribe. But I'm excited to deep dive this episode.
All right on. And I'm doing fantastic. I want to wish our Marvel fans a Merry Christmas and Merry Christmas Eve. And let's jump into, Happy Hogan Saves Christmas. So this, let's kick off our quick little summary rankings and stuff. Then let's deep dive into the episodes and the pieces that we like or we didn't like so much and stuff. Myself, I'm gonna rank this kind of an 8. Yesterday's episode was a 9 for me, but this one's is the 8. Even though my favorite Christmas movie was The Theme, which is Die Hard, throughout this, and the references were just right there in your face. It was an 8 because I wanted it to last a little bit longer for a half. I mean, to sum up a Die Hard movie in half an hour, it just was too quick. I mean, they got in, they held some people hostages, they got beat up, it was a little fast. I was kind of, and I understand it's half hour. You got to do what you got to do to kind of squeeze the time. But that's why I'm giving it 8 versus a higher ranking and stuff. How about you guys?
I'm going to go with a 7. And for me, it was primarily the humor and Darcy's role. Darcy is always stealing the spotlight and everything she does. So having Darcy in there and the jokes about Darcy, about have you ever actually had a real job, like a real paying job, killed me. And I'm a big fan of Darcy. So having her in a What If episode was great. and the humor. There were some things that were just kind of weird to me, and I'll talk about them as we're going through our play-by-play, but I'll give it a solid 7. Lou, what about you?
So I have 2 scores, and this for the episode by itself, for what it is a 7. But for it being a what if episode, it's a 4. I really didn't. Darcy was like the only thing that I enjoyed about this. Obviously, Hammer's comedy I enjoyed, but I don't know. Happy Hogan. I mean, I love Jon Favreau as an actor, but his comedy did not work in this episode. It didn't. Like, I mean, I didn't like it. I didn't like it for what if episode, but I love the Christmas theme and the Christmas vibe and the comedy of like David was saying that a Die Hard kind of comedy. I enjoyed that. This for a Christmas special, like they did for say like Marvel, the Guardians, stuff like that. Solid 7. You put the title of what if, it drops it down to a 4 because this is a what if question that I wasn't asking and I probably would never ask. Like, what if
I
Happy
don't
Hogan
disagree.
Saved Christmas? So, but for the episode by itself, Christmas vibe, 7. What if it's a 4?
Okay.
I loved the Christmas story connections or like plays rather than the Die Hard ones for me. So when Hammer's like telling everyone
his background.
the story about how he just wanted the BB gun and then one of the employees goes, well, you'll shoot your eye out. Like that just aside was so funny. It tickled me. And
it was actually
go ahead.
No, I was saying it's actually befitting to Justin Hammer's character because he wants to be someone else so bad. He emulates Tony Stark throughout this entire thing, and he's done that before. He has no personality.
He has no identity.
Yeah, when he was describing his own childhood, he was literally.
And they're like, "Isn't that a major movie?
Yeah,
that's like a super popular movie." And they're like, "It's the one with the leg lamp that like." So this was an episode. Yeah, my tongue got stuck to the pole. It was such a funny episode. It really was, and it had great Christmas vibes. I love that. They were we can jump into the play-by-play because it starts with Happy and Darcy having a conversation because Tony wants to throw a Christmas party, and who's going to do that besides the intern and the head of security?
Yep.
So. Oh, and I love that Maria Hill was in this too.
Yeah.
However, she was kind of weak.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad to see her. It happened before. Obviously, she died in Secret Invasion. And just for the premises, where this set up, watching the whole thing and watching how the interactions and stuff happened. This had to have happened like right after Iron Man 3 and right before Age of Ultron. They talked about Sokovia, so that place still exists. All rest in peace, all those people. But they're still alive at this point. The
connection to Sokovia was a great addition, though, because we have these trained assassins that Justin Hammer, they're going to be his muscle. And he goes, I should have just hired the ones from Sokovia. I'm like, you're looking for some Black Widows, huh?
Yep. Oh yeah, absolutely. So that's kind of around the timeline that things are taking place. You see Tony's security bots. Obviously before Ultron got his mitts on everything, Jarvis was still Jarvis. He did not yet become Vision. So this all definitely before that takes place. Happy Hogan's rebooting Jarvis, helping organize the Christmas party, sent the intern Darcy on a special mission to get, was it cherries for the party?
Martian with a machine of cherries
for hot toddies, and she's like, I didn't know that people put cherries in hot toddies. It's because they don't. Because he was sending her on a job to get her out of his hair.
Yep, basically. So, what was her nickname for him? I'm trying to remember. It was something. Not Bobbit or something. I should.
Poppin'?
Hoppin?
Puffin.
Puffin. Like a penguin. Puffin the penguin.
Puffin number 2. So, and then Bernard from accounting is Puffin number 1 and stuff. Which Bernard from accounting. So some of you guys may have missed that Easter egg, but you got that Easter egg. But so there is a Bernard in accounting in another movie that's actually played by an actor who is the voice of the Watcher, which is Jeffrey Wright's character and stuff. So Bernard in accounting was definitely I think was a direct on the nose Easter egg and stuff that they had, which there's a few of them. I mean, we have the reference to Short Circuit.
Well, that's the Santa Claus reference.
Yeah.
Bernard from accounting is from the Santa Claus.
I never saw the Santa Claus with Tim Allen, so I'm assuming that's the one you're talking about.
I'm pretty sure Bernard's his little.
Yeah, he's
helper,
Bernard. I don't think he's from accounting, but Bernard is the Santa helper.
Don't they call him Bernard from accounting though? Like when he's undercover.
When is he undercover?
Not undercover, but when he's in the real world.
I've only seen him the first one. So if they mention that like in the sequels, I've never seen the sequels.
I could totally be making that up.
It could be a double reference then, because I totally got that was for Jeffrey Wright, who also played a Bernard in accounting in another movie that he did.
No, I think you're right. You're right.
And then Johnny Five, which Justin Hammer mentioned when he was telling his Tony Stark bots to go attack people. That was from Short Circuit, another 80s classic like Die Hard was. I love that reference. I actually thought it would be lost on the on millennials and Gen Zers and stuff because of it's an 80s classic and stuff. So most of them weren't even born yet. So, but I don't know. It seems like you guys picked up on the Johnny Five reference.
Yes. So. I actually loved it. There were so many like plays to other media and a lot of Christmas media. It was a fun episode. For me, there were some weird things, but so the play-by-play, we see that the party is starting. We see that the party's not starting. They're planning the party. Everybody at Stark Towers is like super busy. They're putting the hat on the Avengers A. I thought that was cute. Definitely put you into the mood for the Christmas spirit for this episode. And we saw Darcy and we saw Happy, and they're doing the party planning talk, and he's sending her on meaningless errands. Mm-hmm. And then Justin Hammer shows up, and we get the backstory on Justin Hammer and about how he was imprisoned for everything that he did at the Stark Expo, and how he had so much time, all the time. And he is looking at magazines where Tony Stark is the feature in jail. So obviously he's holding on to that vendetta. He's trying to take that identity.
So can I comment on that real quick?
Yeah.
So people, I'm sure people by now understand that Tony Stark is a cocky ass genius. I am 100% sure that those magazines were hand delivered from Stark to Justin Hammer while he sat in prison.
For sure, because that is not prison reading material.
That is 100% a Stark move. He would do that. He will have the guards deliver. Anytime there's Tony Stark's name or face or in publication, it gets delivered to his cell. So that was hilarious. It was just, and they didn't even have to tell the backstory. I knew right away the minute that they showed him in prison, and then, oh, look, surprise, there's a magazine with the cover of Tony Stark in your jail cell. Tony was behind that 100%. So Justin Hammer and his two assassins are walking in carrying things that are going to be used as decor for the party. I think it was wreaths, or it might have been poinsettias or something. I can't remember. Yeah. So they're carrying them in, and Darcy walks right past them, walking out of the building because she's going to get the maraschino cherries that she was sent out for, because Tony needs them for his hot toddy. Yep. And that's when all hell breaks loose, and we realize Yeah, they roll into the party. They come out of the elevator just like Hans Gruber and Die Hard. They drop the poinsettias, pull out the machine guns, and take over the party planning or the setup and stuff.
We do need to point that Jarvis is offline being defragged at this time. Yes. So we know that if Jarvis is online, that this is not going to happen.
Oh, no.
But Jarvis is offline and he is defragging. So probably not the best idea when you have people coming for a party at, Stark Towers, but whatever, that was the case. See, that was one of those things that was weird to me. I'm like, that was dumb. That was a dumb choice. Because I want to make sense of it, even though I know you can't make sense of everything in What If, especially.
Justin wouldn't have gotten in the door if Jarvis was online. He was offline, so he was able to waltz right into Stark Tower. So.
Yes. And then Justin Hammer is able to take over control of all of the Stark bots that are walking around and annoying Happy because they cost so much money and they can't pay attention to where they're going. And they're doing all the party planning stuff and setting things up. So he takes control over all of them and sets their target to any employee that is in the building. And that's when, people are running and people are going around crazy. This is when we get that speech from Hammer about the BB gun. And they're like teasing him like, this is from a movie. This is like, you'll shoot your eye out. So all of that happens. And then we get to see Justin Hammer and his minions go up to basically what is Tony's vault. Yeah. And we find out that they are there for Hulk's blood.
And this is where Happy Hogan stumbles up onto their conversation. Meanwhile, Marie Hill is in the basement trying to figure out if they're not the basement, but the armory, trying to see if they're trying to steal Stark's tech while they're upstairs, actually trying to get the blood and stuff. And Happy runs into that. So that's when he decides to pull another Die Hard move and climb through the ventilation shaft while Hogan goes to the penthouse to go relieve himself in Tony's bathroom.
He says, I'm going to sit on Tony's throne and I'm not even going to flush.
That's so gross.
So Maria Hill knows this because she's, on comms with Happy Hogan. She's going to meet him there. She's going to take care of that. She's like, I've got him. You go get the Hulk blood. And we see the minions trying to use a sledgehammer to get open the safe. And that is when so when they're using the sledgehammer, that's when Hammer's like, I should have went with this Sokovian team, because he's like, I thought you were a safe cracker. He's like, I am going to crack the safe.
I'm about to crack it right now with this hammer.
And we get to see that Happy does get down into the vault and causes chaos. The lights go off, so the minions are able to see him. He finds the Hulk blood, and this is the part that irritated me the most during that episode. They could not have made that vial insertion where Happy gets the blood inserted into him on accident and saying, I need hazard pay for this. They couldn't have made that like a better scenario. It was the cheesiest, stupid, like, bing. Oh, now you're injected with Hulk blood. It flipped out of your hand and poked you in the leg. And now that to me was the cheesy. That was the worst part of the episode for me.
Yeah. It was no security measures surrounding that syringe, that his blood. I mean, it's probably one of the most dangerous things in that vault. And he was able to just accidentally not only retrieve it, but inject himself, auto inject himself with it and stuff. So
yeah, he didn't even have to push a button or anything. It just
nothing. There's no passcodes. There's no nothing for it.
And we can point out that the reason that Tony has that blood is because he's working on trying to isolate it so that the anger factor is gone, so that we have the Hulk gene without the hulking out.
See, and that was kind of what got me, was that was like the beginning of me pulling out of the episode. Was it falls into his leg and then it just self syringes into his body. Like, that was weird. But then also too, it being the most dangerous thing in the room, and now he's just able to manage it. Like, it's slowly taking him over. Like, everything we've ever learned, watched, read, seen, anything with Gamma, once it exposes you, it takes you. I mean, R.I.P. Stan Lee in The Incredible Hulk. He took a sip of lemon lime soda and it's done.
It's different. Yeah, I hear what you're saying.
But we also have seen She-Hulk, and she had way more control over her transformation. So
yeah, I agree. I hear what you're saying. So let me just pitch this, and you can agree or disagree with me. So the Stan Lee thing with the drop of his blood, direct gamma poison blood, way more than enough to kill any human being, which is what it did with Stan Lee and stuff. Tony and Bruce Banner both. And per She-Hulk, it was even mentioned in that they've been working on synthesizing his blood because they've been working on a cure, and they wanted a safer version of it so they can test it and make it less dangerous as far as so they can figure out how to get a cure, which is also what led to Professor Hulk becoming Professor Hulk. The more milder version of that. So they were already this is a synthesized version from his blood. So it wouldn't, for me, it makes sense that it wouldn't react the way it did to like the likes of Stan Lee and the Incredible Hulk and stuff that had pure, uncut, I guess is the best way to say it, Hulk's blood and stuff that was coursing through his blood.
I agree. I agree with you, but at the same time, if this is around just shy after Age of Ultron, then they were still far from anywhere being able to do that. I mean, we still see Hulk being Hulk after that. Like, so if this is the timeline they're playing around, then it doesn't make sense because at that time, Gamma to them is still the unknown, except that the Hulk has it in his body. So, I mean, if they're playing around that timeline based off the MCU, which I know What If is nowhere near that, but it doesn't make sense because at that point, there's no control in the Hulk still. I mean, heck, they have to sing a lullaby to make him pass out. So, I mean, I don't think they have that much understanding of the Gamma to be able to do that. And also, too, Gamma itself is like a living, it's almost like a symbiote, like Venom, where it's like, it's its own thing. Your body kind of takes reaction to it. It takes over your body. So for me, it's like, and Happy Hogan is strong enough to just be that person. She-Hulk, Bruce Banner shares that her human form has different traits that allow her to be able to harness that and control it in a way. Happy Hogan's not that person.
Yeah. She has some of the same markers. I mean, it's just the same way within the comic. She has the same markers and bloodline as Bruce. That's why, for some reason, that weird combination just let it work for her. But again, so with the gamma radiation and doing all that stuff, they've been working on this stuff forever. I mean, so Hulk, just for the timeline thing, the Incredible Hulk, what Bruce Banner was working on was Weapon 9 anyway, before Weapon X. And so each version of the serum that they've been working on since Captain America and before is also in that same line. A lot of people don't realize this, but what Captain America, what Logan from X-Men, all of them are working. They're all working on that same serum, except for they brought Bruce Banner in to create Weapon 9, and he had that accident with the gamma radiation because they're doing testing with gamma radiation and that serum and stuff. So that's kind of how that happened. But this is, like I said, Tony Stark would have access to a lot of that research because of Bruce Banner, a lot of that technology because of who he is and stuff, to kind of synthesize this thing. And we don't know really where they are as far as testing it, or, I mean, it's being stored in the vault for safekeeping, but I don't think it would Hulk monster out Happy Hogan. Like, I mean, it seemed like it worked. I mean, we got a Hulk version of Happy Hogan that also was in control of his emotions. And
maybe that's why we got purple instead of green?
Yeah, possibly. I don't know. So hopefully maybe we'll figure we'll see what goes on in the future. We'll see another reappearance of the purple Hulk monster in another What If series. But I think this is just a tamer version of the serum that was, tag team with Bruce Banner and Tony Stark.
So then we see Happy is, trying to navigate what is happening to him. He's got one leg that's hulking out. The rest of him's not hulking out yet. So he's hiding in an office closet, trying to call all of the Avengers, and they are too busy with their holiday festivities and not answering. My favorite one, though, was when he called Natasha. And she's at a ballet recital, like up in the lofters. Like she's obviously supposed to be performing on stage as the Sugar Plum Fairy. And there's these like little girls doing the Nutcracker below her. And there is someone a Hydra agent. Did she say it was 17 kills? And she's like 18.
18. Yeah. You forgot one. Yeah.
You forgot one. And she's like, okay, well, keep on bragging then, sis. Like it was so funny. And then he's like, do you need me to call help for you?
For you? Yeah, you're backup. So
and she's like, no, I got this. And then you hear like pew 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 and and the phone hangs up. So then he's calling Tony, and Tony's not coming to help, and nobody even lets him get a word out. Clint Barton, Captain America, like he's just Tony's playing Santa, having a debate with a child.
Not to cut you off, I love the Clint Barton reference though, but they don't say Hawkeye, they say Hawkman with the confetti arrow.
Did he? You say Hawkman?
Yeah, he's like Tony Stark. What are you doing? Birthday parties now? Confetti arrows for Hawkman? Yeah, he says Hawkman.
I have to re-see that because that's a diss to DC because Hawkman is a trademark thing for that franchise. So
yeah, if I'm not mistaken, he says Hawkman or Hawk Guy, but I know he doesn't say Hawkeye.
Okay, Hawk Guy might be more. They're not.
I mean,
legal jeopardy, but I know they can't say Hawkman, but if they did, damn, okay.
But if they did DC maybe lose rights?
No, that's one of their marquee.
That's one of their original properties.
Yeah,
never mind.
That's
one of their IPs. Yeah, so we totally didn't even talk about the confetti arrow because that comes back into play later. So there's a confetti arrow in the vault, and he's like, "What are you doing?" And he's looking for the Hulk blood. So we get to see a bunch of battle scenes, and we see like Maria Hill, she's captured. He calls Darcy. He finally gets Darcy on the phone, and she's like, "What do you want me to do? Like, what do you I got the cherries. What else do you want me to do?" And he's explaining to her that Jarvis needs to go back online and how to get into the mainframe and all of that.
The fact that she thought it was a tiny little computer screen.
I know.
He's like, this runs this entire building.
Did you think the doorknob? That's what he calls it. The doorknob was the
a gateway to Narnia or something. Or
yeah, so funny. And then she ends up and she's like, "This hacking stuff is so easy. Like this needs to be on WikiLeaks."
Yeah, she referencing other jobs she's had and stuff. And
yeah, she's so funny. So then she does get into the mainframe, and she's like trying to pick like the language or whatever, or the identity for Jarvis, and she picks a German one named Werner.
A sassy German one. Yeah.
A sassy German one. So they figure out what she's doing because they hear him talking to her about, hey, just pick one. So they go grab Darcy, and they're like, now we've got your girl. Come on up to the penthouse. We're going to handle this. And that is when Darcy is up there Darcy sees Santa. He is real. And really, it's just a suit flying in to be used by Hammer. Yeah. And he's got it on. So we get to see some pretty cool fight scenes between Justin Hammer in the suit and Happy Hogan as the Hulk. And then he gets the girls to free and sends them to finish setting Jarvis up and putting Jarvis back online. they're still fighting, and Jarvis goes back online. So they get recontrol over the Stark bots, but not before Werner says no. Like, I'm not calling the Avengers. They're like, call the Avengers. You're going to call the Avengers? And Jarvis is like, as they say in German, no. Like, it's 9, but okay. Just no. But the next thing you know, the Avengers are there. And the Avengers think that
they misread the room.
They misread the room, and they think that Happy is the villain in all of this instead of, the man in the suit. Who was it that says, is that Happy? Was it Clint?
Oh, Clint. Yeah. I
think it was, is that Happy? And Tony's like, no. So they're all fighting, and Darcy jumps in front of the scene, and she's like, no, this is not the bad guy. This is Happy. And they're like, Happy? What? Then who's in the suit? Kind of thing. And Tony just pushes the little button on his watch, and he
disables the Hulkbuster.
He takes his suit right off of the Hulkbuster, off of Hammer, and that's when he realizes it's Hammer. Then Hammer gets kind of tossed out the window, and he's falling, and there's this like beautiful snowdrop in the background. And I was like, this is so Christmassy. And I was like, but are they really going to let him die like this? I had that thought. I was like,
it was the last scene in Die Hard, which I'm like, oh my God, they're recreating the Hans Gruber falling off of Nagatoma towers and stuff. And I agree. I had the same thought you did. Like, are they really going to let him? Are we going to watch him die like they did in Die Hard?
And no, we got a happy Hogan, rightfully so, who slides down, grabs him, and he's like, and Hammer's like, you saved me. And what I wish I remember exactly what he said, because it was beautifully said. But it was about even bad guys need a little bit of grace on Christmas type of thing. I can't remember exactly what he said, but it was a great quote by Happy. So Justin Hammer's going back to prison, and the Avengers are just now chilling. And Happy's like, I'm not going to stay like this forever. You have the cure, right? And Tony just kind of looks at him.
Like, dude, I got my own Hulk.
He's like, my head of security is a Hulk.
Yeah, I got my own book. I'm good. You want to stay like this? So I gotta say there's a point like during that swooping in and saving Justin Hammer, I had a Lou moment. So let me explain my Lou moment here. So I know we all know how Lou shocked us.
Wait, is that what we're calling moments when we hate everything?
No. I'll explain the Lou moment for here. So the last episode, Lou talked about there was a scene where the Winter Soldier, he wanted him to take the shot, to do something egregious, off cuff, and shoot a kid, just like, shock and all. I call that a Lou moment. My Lou moment was seeing Happy hold up Justin Hammer over the edge as he goes in and saves him, and then Justin Hammer says something smart ass like he always does, and then he decides, and then tosses him off the building. I forget. Yeah, that was my Lou moment. I was like,
you know what? It would have made that a little bit, it would have been graphic, but you know what? It would have been a good one. The way that he was ripping the heads off of the Stark bots with his mouth. What if he did that to Justin Hammer?
I'm in.
That just full rage and stuff. Yeah.
He was using his mouth to like bite the heads off of the Stark bots to stop them. What if he had done that to Justin Hammer? That would have been
that fight scene.
I mean, if you're gonna do that, you gotta top a 12-year-old. I mean, you gotta make What If a dark series. I mean, I'm at that point, if they would have smashed Hammer's head in, shot off a 12-year-old. I mean, at that point, decapitate Captain America like they almost did in Falcon and Winter Soldier. I mean, dude,
I still cringe at the thought of that scene. That scene still, like, you just brought it up and it put chills down my arm. That scene still traumatizes
that
me.
Scene made that season. Like,
it didn't show it, which is okay. Just like with if Happy was a toss Justin Hammer, we don't need to see him land and go splat. Just the just the idea of it happening. Like, honestly, with the child being shot by Winter Soldier, if they decide to go that route, we should never see it. We should see him like pull the trigger and maybe a reaction or something, but no.
Or like, yeah, well, okay, I would have been down for that. Like, I don't want to see it. But like, if you're going to make it that dark and you're going to do that, yes, okay, you hear it. Mm-hmm. You see Bucky's hand take it or whatever. And then you see them like carrying him or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I don't want to see the kill shot.
Oh, I don't either.
No, I don't think anybody does. I mean, even me talking about it yesterday.
I don't know, Lou.
I felt you wanted to see the kill shot. Like
I felt like the guy from Monsters U yesterday. Nobody wants to see that. I want to see it. He's like, you don't want to touch this. I want to touch it.
So I am prepared to fight on this one, but as far as I think that fight scene, as irrelevant and small it was, of Happy Hogan fighting Tony Stark's security bots, was probably one of the best fight scenes of the entire What If, both seasons and stuff. Watching them smash them into oblivion, into the side walls, biting the heads off, as Sam talked about, all of that whole fight scene, it almost peaked like anime for me. Like, it was full on like fight. I loved it. And I want to see more of that action kind of stuff. And I didn't see that in all of the What If seasons. So for me, that's a 10 out of 10 of fight scenes of the entire What If series.
That and we didn't get Guardians references. At least like we're calling this. There's no Guardian references, which I'm in for at this moment. Because
you didn't see Howard the Duck at the Christmas party?
No, was he there?
No, he wasn't. He would.
I was gonna say,
I wouldn't be surprised if he was. But...
No, there was no Guardians in this. There was no Guardians in this episode either.
Nada.
Yeah, no. Overall, though, I feel like tomorrow, though, I thought we're going to get another Christmas-esque episode. I feel like tomorrow we get a Christmas-ish episode, and now with them throwing this in there, I would not be surprised if we get some type of rambunctious, arrogant New Year's Tony Stark one. It'd be great fan service. It'd be great fan service if we get a cartoon version of the Tony Stark throwing his head back, new me, new year kind of face, that meme that you see. Mm-hmm. It would be great if we can get that in like a What If cartoon version where his head's just back, like, here we fucking go. I would be dead if we got that meme and they just did a fan service to that meme.
Okay. Actually, that would be kind of cool to see. So overall, did anybody's ratings change based on our discussions or anything? Still holding fast at? I mean, you have to average out your ratings, Lou. You can't just have two. I'm gonna have a 4 and a 7 and stuff.
Then I'll go the difference, but a little more positive. I'll go a 6.
Okay, all right.
It was still a fun episode. And right now, I know I can't change the first episode, but right now that puts me at a 6, an 8, and an 8.5. So, because right now my rating scale is so, like, literally, it's one small thing, and it can go from an 8 to a 2. So my rating scale is really, really fragile.
Yeah.
And not consistent.
So this is, for me, the third of the 3. This was in my ranking. Yesterday was number 1. The first episode was my number 2, and then this is 3. So
I'm right where you are, David.
Yep.
Yesterday was so episode 2 was my highest ranked so far.
Mm-hmm.
Episode 1 is my second highest, and then this was my third.
Yep.
If I'm not mistaken, though, season 1, episode 2 was the T'Challa and Guardians one, right?
I don't know. I
don't remember the exact episode numbers for season 1.
If that's the second episode, and right now second episode here is my favorite. So it'll be very interesting to see if that's how it plays out this season. If episode 2 stays the reigning champ.
Okay.
I think that what we're getting this season is consistently better than last season.
Yep.
I will agree.
So hopefully they had some extra time with whatever writers they did have on it with the strike. They had extra time to think about it. They saw the response from last year. And I feel like second seasons of shows have a lot of potential if they really, really take in the feedback from the first season. So in Marvel, Star Wars, Disney fandom, there's tons of podcasts, none quite like the Marvel Tribe here at Walt's Apartment Podcast, but they get a lot of feedback that other networks don't get because there's not podcasts over all of these shows that are getting second seasons and third seasons and fourth seasons. So they have feedback that they can listen to and then adjust their gears to.
Yep.
So I think that's why we are getting a better second season, is because they're actually listening to their fans.
I agree.
They're fans that have followings too.
Yep. No, I agree with that. They have fandoms, like Sam said, that absolutely is following the logic, adding their input, and it's not just random. They really are kind of paying attention to things, and I think some of the writers are doing, they are listening. They're we see it in the writing. It's improved quite a bit. The season is significantly better. Even just the release, I get this as a kind of a marketing thing for the Advent calendar thing, but I actually like this. I like the daily release. This, I get down with this. I mean, I want to make sure that I say that enough and other people say it. Like, when you release content that is made for Disney Plus, do it on the daily. Do it on the daily.
You're giving us dopamine, Marvel.
Yep. Loving it. Can't wait. And like Sam said earlier, we're a few hours away from tomorrow's episode. I actually might stay up late just so I can watch.
I was just thinking that I might stay up till midnight to see it.
No, that's 2 a.m. for me, but I may be up. If I am up, I will watch it. If not, I will be up before y'all are up. Probably 4 or 5 a.m. your time. I'll probably be up watching it so that we can record tomorrow. And I'm excited. This is a solid shows that we've been doing. It's been fun. So if you're following along on any of the podcast platforms, hop on over to our social media. Let us know what you're thinking about these Marvel Tribe episodes. What do you think about the daily releases? How are you enjoying season number 2 of What If? Join us on our live show Wednesday nights and give us some feedback. What do you want more of? What are you enjoying? What would you like to see different? We are open to feedback and constructive criticism and fan interaction, because honestly,
only part of Patreon.
You can also join Patreon. Yes,
on Patreon, and we'll listen more.
We will plug our Patreon here. So if you are willing to follow us on Patreon, we would absolutely love that. You can look for Walt's Apartment Podcast on Patreon. You get exclusive interviews.
That is dope. I know no one can see this. I'm sorry, but that
did Louis just sketch that?
Dude.
When you were talking Ghost Hunters, I was like, huh. So I did a Slimer.
That's freaking dope.
So that's amazing. Louis, you know what we should do? We should post the story that we were talking about beforehand in our Discord, which you get access to if you're a Patreon, and you should show them that and just be like, I just sketched this while we were recording Marvel Tribe. So you get that kind of thing if you join Patreon. You get access to our Discord. You get access to us more regularly. You get exclusive interviews. You get watch parties. You get custom art by Louis over at Sunken City Designs via Walt Apartment. You get codes to our sponsors, Where in the Park. So you get your name shout out in the live shows. So go ahead, join us on Patreon. Check out our live shows at Walt's Apartment Podcast. Check out our podcast feeds anywhere that you can listen to podcasts. Obviously, if you're listening to this, you already know where to find us. Make sure you're giving some love to Knights of the Rogue Republic as well, and our other downloads. But I think that's all we've got, right?
Yep. Yeah.
Until a few hours from now, when we're going to be recording over episode 4 of What If Season 2. Well,
let's do our outro.
Sorry. I was about to feel the pulse in your chest so you know you're alive. One team, one love.
It's the Marvel Tribe.
See you later.
Merry Christmas.